Welcome to the Vintage Firearm series, episode 2. In this series, I thought I'd switch it up a little bit. Probably always will be doing that in some way or another. I was walking through a chain store. And I walked by this gun, and as I walked by, I said to myself, but out loud, wow, what a cool gun for a young person. And that's exactly what it is. And as I walked by and I checked out their more expensive guns, which I couldn't find any that I really felt the need that I couldn't walk away from, I went back to this one. It had a ridiculously low price tag on it. It's $150. And inquiring to the person who was helping me, it had been owned by the father of someone in the boat department. Now, you probably can't see it, but I'll try to show it to you. See if I can turn it. Maybe you can stop it when the angle gets right. It's a J.C. Higgins, which is Sears and Roebuck. Back in the day, what do I know about it? Well, in just looking at it, and I haven't done much more than that, only briefly at best, it is a probably 50s, late 50s, early 60s gun. We know it's pre-68 because I don't see any serial numbers on it. I'm still looking. I've only picked this gun up a couple of times. I have had the opportunity to fire it. It says model 94C, and on over in here, model 101.1. I have no idea what that means. There's two different models on this. So like I said, I'm kind of looking at it a little bit as we do this video. But I thought it would be a good idea to talk about entry-level guns and what's available out there. This is a gun that could not be purchased today for anyone anywhere near that money, and probably not even of this quality within a range of finances that you would want to consider. I guess that doesn't sound quite right, but we'll let it go. And so 150 bucks, and you've got case hardening on it. You've got nice bluing on it. Let's pull this off. Okay, cool. Appears to have a 7 in it. It could just be a flaw in the wood. It's really nice, even underneath. Everything about it. Now, I'm going to talk about how I took that off in a second, because this video is going to be geared towards, first of all, anybody who loves firearms, loves all kinds of firearms. There's no difference. I'm a shooter, so I will migrate towards anything that goes bang. But here we have a 16 gauge. Now, a 16 gauge is a little out of favor, and I'm sure that's why it was 150. But it's still available. You can still pick up the ammo. And it's just a little bit more than 20 or 12, but almost as readily available. Now, if you want to remove, I just pulled the forearm. I was looking for, there are some designations there, but I'm not familiar with them. So we're going to let them slide. If you want to pull I pulled the forearm. I'll show you how I did that in just a second. But to pull the barrel off, you just push this in and then gently reach down, and it should come right off very easily. And the barrel should be bright and shiny on the inside without dimples, corrosion, or anything like that. Now, when you go to put this back, you notice how easy that just slid in. It's really pretty easy. But you do want to take this lever here and press it over. And as you're doing that, it should snap right in, which it does. It doesn't go clang or anything, because if you do that, it's not the right way to do it. A real pro would never do it that way. You would hold the lever over on opening and closing. Now, when you put this forearm back in, there's a little lever right here on the side, and that's just going to go. Some of them have a little button. There's all kinds of different arrangements. You just have to look over what you have. But this is a really great entry-level shotgun. Now, I also want to talk to you about, there's a lot of talk about dry firing and what guns are safe to do it. I'm going to tell you the fundamental basic rule about dry firing. Don't do it. It's not necessary. For instance, say for instance I want to feel the trigger on this gun. Well, I pull it back to full cock. First of all, you never do that without first inspecting the gun, but you just saw me do that. I opened it up. It is not loaded in any way, shape, or form. So then what you're going to want to do is put your finger on the trigger, but hold the hammer. I just did that. Then you're going to feel what the trigger was like. So again, you know, and whenever you do this, notice I've got it pointed towards the roof. That's a pretty safe spot unless you're in a 2-story building. So you're going to pull it back, hold it, and then release the trigger. And it's going to tell you what you're going to need to know. Here we're in the safety position. And so this is really a wonderful gun for very, very little money. Now, I want to show you something else. Again, this is for beginners. A lot of people will use their flashlights. I do too. But especially on small caliber. Now this is 16 gauge, so it's not that. But if you want to check out the bore on a firearm, you can kind of go like this. And that's kind of what it should look like. Right down there. Now, you're going to likely see that the first 2 3/4 inches plus is going to be more of a dull finish, and it's going to be really bright back here. Well, I ran a snake through this the other day after I shot it, so it should be pretty bright in there. And, you know, they say mirror-like is the example that's always used. Again, when you go to close, push this over. There you go. And that way there, your gun will last generations, and you won't wear it out on your watch, okay? Even an inexpensive gun like this could last an extremely long period of time. So there you have it. A nice little gun, fun to shoot. You know, I was looking for my choke gauge and chamber gauge. At some point, I will find that again. I just came off a very long trip. I travel the country not only on my job, but also to find vintage firearms. And that's when I found this. Just if you're in another area, you know, you can always purchase a firearm and have it shipped back to your FFL. Now, if you a long gun like this, or shotgun, anything along those lines, you can usually take possession of that gun. You need to find out the rules and regulations of the states you're going to be traveling in, because some of them have very strange rules, including the West Coast. But I don't buy guns from California because I'm not saying all the dealers are corrupt there, but some of them are. And I bought 2 vintage firearms, beautiful condition from the 1800s. And the reason I bought them is they look like this, okay? They look gorgeous, except for they were, one was a Remington with exposed hammers and everything. And I paid for the insurance, $150. And so when I got the guns, they were both shipped with 1 layer of bubble wrap around them in the same box. And the stocks were broken. And so that obviously was very upsetting to me. I felt that somehow, you know, I wasn't going to be able to maintain those guns. We had lost them. I mean, they can be repaired. One of the medallions and everything was gone, broken up, and they're not able to get them. So since I had paid for it, I called up the shipper and said, well, you know, you guys have to make this right. And they said it never had insurance put on it. So I paid $150 and didn't get the insurance. And that was from a well-known gun retailer on the West Coast. In a small gold mining town. That's what I will tell you about it. Other than define it more than that, I'm not going to. I don't have to get into the particulars and the hassles. But so I called him back up and he said, oh, it had the insurance. Of course it didn't, because I had the paperwork that said I paid $150 for the insurance. But the shipper said no, and they and my FFL, who deals with shippers constantly, said no, it didn't have insurance. It would say right here on the website. So he, the seller, told me I could ship it back to him. But here's the problem. I had 2 broken guns. And if I shipped them back to him, I wouldn't have that. And so he was already, in my opinion, corrupt. So I have not bought a gun out of California since then. I usually buy them in person, but I don't buy them anymore because you can't take possession of a firearm in California if you're not a California resident. So that's just a simple thing, you know. I just don't do it. But in any case, this is a wonderful gun. It's fantastic. So if you're walking through your local gun store, don't buy the first one you see, but don't be afraid to look. And if you see a remarkable deal, maybe the stock isn't quite this pretty or something, but you know, $150, if it locks up good, I'll show you how to check the lockup. This is probably the only thing I really did before purchasing it, is you pull off the forearm and you go like that. So you put the barrel, in my case, the left hand, and the stock on your right, and you try to wiggle it. And if it doesn't wiggle, it's what they call a good lockup. Now, if the gun's old and been fired a lot, I knew without even doing that, that it was going to lock up fine. Because I handled enough guns, you can tell from looking at them which ones have been used. It is possible that there could be something technically wrong with it. I purchased a gun, a 1920s trap, which I'm going to do a review on because it's a fantastic firearm. And I purchased that gun, and when I got it, I bought it online without actually seeing it because I collect 1920s single barrel traps. And it was one of 500. And pretty soon I'm going to own 2 of them because one's being shipped to me, so I'm going to own 2 of the 500. But when I got it, it was the FFL dealer, who's a friend of mine. I mean, these people become friends of yours after a while if you hang out there enough. And he's my home store, so everybody ships to him. I have a couple of people. I have my gunsmith and another local dealer and this gentleman. And so he grabs, he brings the gun out to me. There was a series bought all at that one time, 4 or 5, I think, at that shipment. And he says, you're not going to want this one. And because he knows it's loose, he knows I'm going to look for it. But the gun was like this one. It had the appearance of being unfired, but I felt it, man, it just felt terrible. What a loose lockup. And I wanted to take it into my gunsmith, but I was scared what he'd tell me. So I went out and fired it once, and it actually opened up. And not a good thing. You know, I'm not proud that I did fire it. I actually knew better. It felt semi-tight. But what it was is this lever right here had been bent. Now this one would never bend with it, probably without breaking, but the other one was longer and stuff. And so the lever wasn't quite making it to where it needed to be. And so when I went in and showed him the gun, and I'll tell this story in maybe better detail when I review that gun, because it's one I got to review. He just knew right away what it was. So in any case, hey, thank you for coming along. I hope you found this interesting, and I will be coming to you very soon. If the weather stops raining, I'm going to take it out and shoot it for you. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Okay, here we are. We're outside. It's drizzling, and we shouldn't have a gun out in the drizzle unless you have a designated gun for it. And certainly a nice gun like this that has beautiful stock on it, you want to protect it. I mean, that's the true value of this gun, other than the fact it's like brand new and functions well. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go for that black can down there. Hopefully you can see that. Shouldn't have any problem with this gun. This gun doesn't really have a safety to it all that much. So the safety is half cock. So here we go. Put your ears on. It's a little stuck. That's what happens when you're not used for 60, 70 years. Gonna have to put some lubricant on it. Okay, so let's go ahead. Go to the full cock positions. This time I'll go for the middle one. Yeah. And, no, that worked well that time. Maybe I just held my finger on it last time. Sometimes I have a tendency to do that. With certain guns you can, and then it pops up afterwards. Some guns you can't. Like I say, I'm not familiar with this particular one. Let's go for that last one. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a can. Down there with 1 trillion holes in it. See if I can make that one fly. I'm going to try to hit it a little low to put it in the air. Here we go. I guess I shot it a little bit too low. Hang on for 1 second. I'll go get another shot. Okay, I'm back. This time I'm not going to shoot it low because I've got some debris in front of it, and I don't want to dilute it, so it'll tumble over backwards. As you can see, they're excellent guns. Now that's about 50 feet away approximately. Great gun. If you get used to them, this could be like your best friend. And so I hope you found this video entertaining. I found it fun to do. And I'm looking forward to doing a whole series of firearm videos, and I hope you find them interesting. We'll eventually be putting them on other formats, so no matter what happens at YouTube, they continue to be available. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Pop. I love that. You never get over that. Okay? Take it easy. Bye-bye.